Everyone wants to be stronger, not just physically, but in every part of life. But between confusing workout advice, complicated equipment, and trying to figure out nutrition, where does anyone even start? Well, to get stronger mentally and physically, go to Anytime Fitness. You'll get a personalized training, nutrition, and recovery plan, all customized to your body, your strength level, and your goals. You'll get expert coaching to optimize your results, anytime, anywhere, in the gym and on the Anytime Fitness app. And you'll get anytime access to 5,500 gyms worldwide, all with the right equipment to level up your strength gains and your life. So get started at AnytimeFitness.com. That's AnytimeFitness.com.
It's time to talk LSU football on the flagship home of the Tigers. Call 225-499-9898. It's Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Now, live from the Raisin Cane studio, here's Charles Hannegriff and Richard Dixon.
Tigers back in the win column for homecoming, 20-10 over South Carolina. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Eagle 98.1 Game Day. I'm Charles Hannegriff, along with former Tiger Richard Dixon. Well, it was a beautiful day for football. Great weather at Tiger Stadium and a terrific crowd to watch LSU move their record to 5-1 and 2-1 in SEC play. We went into this game with what we call our keys to the V, and sometimes they're very basic things, and sometimes they're a little bit more specific. And today they were very specific on what LSU needed to do, not only to win the football game, but also to regain some confidence in what they're doing, in this 2025 season. The first question that I had, and I think that many people had, was would Garrett Nussmeier be healthy for this game? Would he be able to throw the football down the field? Would he take the advantage of running if it were presented to him in this game? And mostly, would he feel any pain as the game went along that would cause him to be limited in any way? Well, I think Nussmeier answered that question. Yes, he was healthy. Yes, there was zip on the football. They even had a fancy advanced metric about quarterback arm strength, and he's been lacking in that position in that area. We knew that coming in. The injury, having the week off, obviously helped him a good bit. You saw the 50-yard pass to Chris Hilton. Well, Hilton dropped it, but the point is the ball was 50 yards in the air. We saw him throw the ball with enough zip on pretty much all of his passes tonight. Didn't see the short arms, didn't see the balls come up short. There were a couple that sailed on him, but those were more, I thought, due to mechanics than it was to any kind of injury. He even ran the ball 4 times for 30 yards and had a 21-yard run. So I think that, does Nussmeier have a clean bill of health? I would say yes. Now, that is in regards to the oblique injury. The beating that he took tonight is a whole different thing, and he came up limping a number of times, but we'll get to that. Garrett Nussmeier went into this game healthy, and that's certainly a good sign. The second one was, could LSU run the football, and would they even try? Well, yes, we got our answer to that one too. LSU ran the ball for 166 yards tonight, 30 times, 5.5 yards per play. But what was impressive to me was that of LSU's 30 carries, 15 of them went for 3 yards or less. Why does that impress me? Because they didn't quit.
They tried.
Yeah, those numbers would, last week or last game against Ole Miss, they just flat gave up on the run game. And they've done that more than once under Joe Sloan calling plays. They didn't do it tonight. They kept their balance. They kept at it. And eventually you will break through. We saw long runs from Caden Durham. We saw a long run from Jawan Johnson. We even saw a long run of 21 yards from Garrett Nussmeier. So the idea that they did not give up on the run game. We saw Cohen Eccles at left guard. We saw Weston Davis at right tackle. We did not see Carius Kern unless I missed it. So they stuck with the same 5 all game. They kept after it. Were they, the Oklahoma wishbone of the 1970s and 80s rushing the football? No. But, Rich, they kept hammering away at it. We saw some power runs tonight. We saw them actually move some people at times. Not all the time. Yeah. Again, half of your carries went for 3 yards or less. I don't want to make out like, oh, wow, the running game's altogether fixed. But 166 yards on 30 carries is light years away from what they've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, they had 100 yards on 3 carries. I mean, they had some big runs, and that's part of the run game. You got to pound it, and you break one. Is it perfect? No. I mean, was I frustrated tonight? Yes. There's things that they're still bothering me, but look, I'm happy that they stuck with it. You got 30 rushes tonight.
Yeah, there was a lot for, as even Kelly said after the game, look, this wasn't the prettiest thing. I get it, but
we gave up. I mean, this game should have been 41-3. I mean, it was really hard to watch. Like, I'm not as mad because we won, but I'm still pretty frustrated because it's a game that we dominated in but didn't put points on the board.
You look like you're taking it well. I mean, I got some other things here. I want you to get your reaction to. Number 3, could LSU contain Lenore Sellers? Well, Sellers was 15-27, 124 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception, and he rushed 22 times for 19 yards. That includes 5 sacks. Sellers is a load. He's a talented kid. He's a very good athlete. He's hard to get on the ground. But he didn't kill LSU with his feet tonight. And most importantly, where I was most concerned was, would he get loose on third down? Would they have a very high conversion rate, mostly because of, well, his ability to stretch the field for one, but his ability to break out of any kind of trouble and run for first downs. They were 6 of 16 on third downs and 0 for 2 on fourth downs. So I thought they did a good job there in containing Lenore Sellers. What they did well, 10 points, okay? This is now 12 points a game that they are allowing through half of the season. In an era where offensive football rules the day, that's gigantic, okay? Florida scored 10 points on them. Clemson scored 10 points on them. Louisiana Tech scored 7 points on them. South Carolina scored 10 points on them. You can win a lot of games that way. Even Ole Miss with 480 yards only scored 24 points on them. So you did a good job there. 317 yards of total offense for South Carolina only translated into 10 points. That's a win, okay? You can get by with those numbers. They had 2 turnovers tonight. They had a pick, and they caused a fumble. They held a very dangerous return game in check. South Carolina had 3 punt returns for a touchdown on the season so far. They had 6 touchdowns that were non-offensive. LSU didn't get hurt anywhere there. Dylan Stewart, the outstanding defensive lineman for South Carolina. Yeah, he had 2 tackles for loss. He's a really good player. But did he spend the night in the backfield? No, he did not. All of those were good things. What didn't we like? Well, you just said it, Rich. This game didn't have to be this close. LSU got handed the ball to South Carolina 17, first play of the game from scrimmage for South Carolina. That only produced a field goal. Jawan Johnson fumbled inside the 1-yard line. That cost him points. The defense, which didn't have many breakdowns, did allow a 72-yard run for a touchdown. I can live with 1, but it's a 72-yard touchdown. You don't expect them to give that up. Nussmeier's first interception was in South Carolina territory. Nussmeier's second interception was at the South Carolina 9-yard line. And late in the game, when they were trying to put this thing away for good, they had first and goal at the South Carolina 1-yard line, and that drive only produced a field goal. You add all of that up, I don't know about 41-3, but it certainly could have been a lot more than a 10-point point margin. And you got the feeling, at least I did, into the latter stages of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, some nervousness started to creep in because South Carolina should not have been that close, and they were. And it's like, look, one fluke play, because that's what I fear when you got a game that you are controlling, maybe not dominating. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but certainly controlling. You get one fluke play, and you're in a tie ball game, and then you could end up in a situation where you go, how in the hell did they lose that game? Thankfully, it didn't happen, but not being able to put this game away sooner is something that I'm sure they won't be happy about. But they'll be happy about 20-10, Rich, and getting to the halfway point of the season 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, look, they got the win. That makes a lot of people feel better. But I'm still frustrated.
It doesn't make you feel better?
No, I mean, God dang it. When you fumble, I mean, was it 3 turnovers in the red zone? You have
Juwan Johnson fumbled at the 1.
Interception.
You had the interception at the 9-yard line. And then you had 2 times where you were in the red zone. You had the 17-yard line, 1st and 10, and you were at the 1-yard line, 1st and goal, and you got field goals out of both of those drives.
I mean, when you start the game and you go 3-and-out punt, then you get a hell of a turnover, a momentum swinger, and you go 3-and-out field goal. That pisses me off. I mean, because that's something you got to reward this defense at some point. And at that point, I know we're up 3-0, but I'm furious because I mean, that's 6 plays you can't do anything on offense, and then you're given the field goal because of a great play by defense.
And here I thought you would come in here in a good mood because Trey Green had 8 catches for 119
Well,
yards.
now I'm actually more frustrated because, look, I love Trey getting the ball, and I think he was a great weapon. And we talked about it pregame, that they need to get him the ball. But he's a wide receiver, man. That ain't a tight
end. well, I'll let you deal with that one. But he was a mismatch.
No,
he's
always going to be. I don't know why we got away from it the last few weeks. I know he was hurt, but everything we talked about pregame about getting him on one-on-ones, putting him out the outside, and we hadn't seen it the last few weeks, even when he was in. Some of that came back tonight.
There were opportunities for some other plays. When I was talking about what they did poorly at not putting the game away, Nussmeier's bomb to Hilton was the play we've been waiting to see.
Yeah.
Okay. The last 2 times Hilton got behind the defense, Nussmeier underthrew him by half a city block. This one he puts on the right there in the center of his chest, and Hilton dropped it. That's another. It would have been a touchdown on that play, but it would have put them in great field position. So that was another play that wasn't made. Thankfully, none of those ended up costing LSU the ball game. They were able to capitalize enough, make enough plays, make enough stops. Work of art, no. But I got to tell you, Rich, I'm more encouraged maybe than you are. This is not anywhere close to a perfect team. They are not playing right now at a championship level. I think that's really encouraging. You know why? Because I watched football from 11 o'clock this morning until I walked into this studio, and we still got games on. I don't think LSU has played anything close to resembling the type of football I think they're capable of playing. Nothing close to what I think that they can get to. I think they have left a lot of points on the field. I think they have had some breakdowns. I think they've had some injuries. I think they went into Ole Miss with an awful game plan. And with all that being said, here you are sitting at 5-1. And tell me, who is the best team in the Southeastern Conference? They've all got hold. Bad as LSU played. I said this last week, it got lost. Yeah. Okay. Bad as LSU played and bad as LSU coached in Oxford. I mean, it was bad. Okay. Came in here last week. You were ready to beat up that poor Raising Cane's dog over there.
Beat up
they lost. Stop. And they lost by 5 points.
Yeah.
Okay. Texas A&M. Okay. Good team. Be here in a couple of weeks. Unbeatable. Not even close. Alabama. Good. Unbeatable. No. Georgia on the ropes at times tonight. Auburn. If Auburn had half a heartbeat on offense, Georgia probably loses tonight. Tennessee's in a dogfight with Arkansas. They end up winning the game by 3. Texas got their first win today. Missouri, I can go all the way down the list. I don't know who the best team in the league is because I think that the margin between first place and 8th place is very, very, very small.
I 100% agree with you, and I also think that that's why it's so frustrating because, I watch these games and we watch the film so much that you see the talent, you see the opportunity, and I'm just waiting for them to put it together because I feel like it's there. Like I could have been watch this game and it'd have been 60-3, whatever. I know they can do it. Like I've seen the capabilities, but it's just frustrating that they can't put it together yet.
Well, the fact that they are not, I would be frustrated if we were sitting here doing this show for Auburn. Okay, Auburn has lost 3 games by a total of, I think, 13 points or 23 points, okay? in every game into the fourth quarter, leading in at least one of these games in the second half. They've lost all three. They're playing pretty good defense over there, too. I mean, really good defense, and they've got nothing to show for it. I'd feel really disappointed if I were, doing this show at Florida right now. I said, look, we played good enough defense to win, held LSU to 20 points. That should be good enough. Yeah. In the game for a lot of this thing with Texas A&M and beating Texas, and here you are with a 1-2 record. I guess what I'm saying is this could be a lot worse. And I watch all of these games that are going down to one score, one play here or there, and I'm thinking to myself, I know LSU's got flaws. I'm looking at 16 out of 16 teams with flaws. And there's nobody that I would really consider awful. Not only is there not a big gap between first and eighth. I just feel like there's no elite right now. There's not. Yeah. And there's nobody that's really terrible. If you had to say the difference between first and last in the league right now is probably a smaller margin than any time I can remember. You'd probably say right this second Kentucky's the worst team in the league. I don't think they're 3-9 bad. Yeah. I don't think that they're incapable of winning a game. I mean, they lost to Ole Miss by a touchdown. That kind of gives you an idea. Ole Miss is in first place. Kentucky's in last place. It's a one-score game. Yeah, most of the time you see the bottom of the league get stomped on by the top. I mean, how many times did we see Georgia beat Vanderbilt by 6 touchdowns? Yeah. But that's not the case this year. So the fact that you have not played your best football, got a lot of room for growth, and you're 5-1. I'm somewhat encouraged by that, but they got to play better. They got to start scoring points.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd say encouraged.
Relieved.
Relieved is a lot better word than encouraged, because, like I said, 41-3, I might be stretching, but I felt like we could have dominated this game, and I felt like we had opportunities to dominate.
They should have put it away a lot.
They should have put it away. I shouldn't have been freaking stressing out in the fourth quarter. Like, I want to get to a fourth quarter where I feel, hey, I can go pour me a little half a drink and enjoy myself and then come do the show. But no, I got to be stressed out to the last second.
If you're looking to do that, I can tell you that there is a game against Western Kentucky in November. That may be the only time you get to do that, because the rest of the games on the schedule, LSU could win them, LSU could lose them. They will be probably the biggest underdog at Alabama. They will probably be the biggest favorite against Arkansas. And I'm here to tell you they could win or lose either one of those games. Yeah. And Arkansas, look, Bobby Petrino's on the sideline again, and they gave Tennessee 60 minutes of football today. It took in Knoxville. Yeah. It took all Tennessee could do to get out of there. 499-9898 is the number on the Hooters hotline. We welcome your phone calls as LSU wins it by a score of 20-10 in Tiger Stadium. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues. LSU wins it by a score of 20-10. 499-9898 is the number to call on the Hooters hotline. Let's start off with Chris in New Orleans. Chris, welcome into the show.
Hey, Henny and Rich, how you guys doing?
Good, man.
I think, Rich, I think you nailed it on the head, at least from the fan perspective. I totally understand that there's an optimism to this, but we definitely left too many points on the field. My biggest question is two things. Is Joe Sloan allergic to plays that work? The four wide receiver on one side, Trades on the other, toss it, let the big 6'7" guy go get it play. It's worked far more often than it hasn't. And I understand he was hurt 2 weeks ago against Ole Miss, so I understand that. But why are you not running that maybe as your go-to first down play in the red zone? And that goal line gorgeous play where you had Jack Pyburn as your lead blocker and Caden Durham picked up 60-something against Florida. Why is that not a lineup on the goal line? I'll hang up and listen. You guys are awesome.
That the goal line sequence at the end was befuddling. Yeah. Nussmeier, look, I'm confident that the arm is healthy. Okay, the mechanics are a little screwy right now because of whatever, yeah. But he got knocked around tonight. I mean, there were 2 or 3 times he got up limping. I don't think that would have been. Look, God bless him. He ran the ball 4 times tonight, and he took some wide open lanes. But I don't think that would have been my choice on the goal line.
Not at all. I mean, there's things that, like, we talked about when you're talking about the what I call the star formation, we're putting Trades out on the left. We talked about it pregame today when we were talking about what we want to see, what they got to get back to. And it's a good play, but look, Trades is a freak. He's 6'7", he can go up and get the ball. He's still got to work on his route running. He's got to learn how to move people, how to shift people. There's things he can do to make it easier. I'm glad they brought it back today. I don't know why we haven't been running it as much, but it's just, to me, there's so many little things that are frustrating that I just feel like this team is so close, and that's probably why I get madder than I should, because there's things that I feel like they can do that we're just not getting done.
Like,
well, I feel like every time I go break down the film, I get really mad on Saturday nights, and I'm dog cussing people and don't feel like they can do it. Then I go watch the film, and it's always one person away. It's a block or two away, and I just don't understand why we just can't put it together. And this is a game where when you turn the ball over 3 times in scoring opportunities, that's when I say 41. I got 41. We won 20-10. Easily should have been 41. The defense, they made the plays to keep us in the game. I don't think that they played their best night tonight. They got, was it 5 sacks, I think?
5 sacks, yeah.
Okay, so they got after him. I felt like we blitzed a lot more. We got after him. But I think we gave up runs that we don't normally feel like we should give up either.
The one long one, to Fuller was obviously the biggest play of the game for South Carolina, but it was just one. If it's just one, I can live with it. The star formation, can you use that outside of the red zone? There's some creative things you can do out of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of it's a screen play, but I mean outside run. I mean, you can pitch it really quick to the guy, get 3 guys blocking. You can run motions out of it and do slip screens, end arounds. There's a lot more things they can do with it, but it is more of a 3rd and 5 to goal line type play.
Yeah. The Trades Green had a great night. Okay, yeah. Big stats and everything. The one ball early that Nussmeier throws, it appears behind him. Okay, well, we broke that same play down against Clemson, and it's that Green doesn't run the correct route.
Yeah,
and you explained why that was.
No, and he's done that. He's not a polished route runner, and the problem with being such a freak athlete, you get away with it so much. But there's times like that, and it wasn't just Clemson. I think there was one in the second game, Louisiana Tech. He's got to understand when to sit down, not drift. You play space. It's called chasing space. You get in the hole, you sit down, and you become a block. And he's got a problem with turning around and drifting, which causes everybody's going to say the quarterback threw behind him or it was a bad throw. He wasn't where he was supposed to be.
He threw the ball where he was supposed to. Look, the mistakes tonight that kept South Carolina in the game, I just thought of another one that I didn't write down in the open, but Xavier Thomas, who's one of their best players, going backwards 9 yards on a punt return. It's like, what are you doing? That's a really, really tough play. Taylor is in New Roads on the Hooters hotline. Taylor, welcome into the show.
Hey, guys. How you doing? I was at the game tonight, and offense did look a little better from my perspective, but a lot of the time when some of those plays didn't go as everybody expected, there was a lot of boos in the stadium. I don't know how much longer Sloan has here, but just didn't look very encouraging on the offense for the most part. The end zone turnovers weren't good. That's not on Nussmeier, but just want to hear your thoughts. Thanks.
Some of it's on Nussmeier. I mean, I don't know if he's pushing or he's laboring, but there's decision-making issues that he's having right now that we thought would be better. And everybody wants to crack on Joe Sloan, and I get it because I do it too. But when I go back, a lot of the play calls they're not executed.
Yeah, I'm not over the moon about some of the plays that he's called, but here's why I'm again encouraged about this. South Carolina's not a great defense. So they're sort of middle to bottom middle. I think they were 11th, I think, in total defense coming into this game. So it's not great. But 420 yards and 22 first downs is enough to win a game in the Southeastern Conference. They're just not scoring points. 420 yards should translate to somewhere between 28 and 31 points. And you just brought up, a couple of situations where they should have scored. If they weren't getting any yards at all, I'd be really nervous. At least this is progress, okay? Think of it like a baseball team that's getting a lot of hits and they're just not scoring very many runs because they're not getting the hits at the right time. Well, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I saw tonight. I saw an offense that made some big mistakes. The turnovers were huge mistakes. But a lot of this, LSU ran 63 plays, I think, tonight. I got a feeling that when you go look at the film, you're going to find more positive plays than negative plays. You're going to probably end up with somewhere in the area of about 40 good ones and about 20 bad ones.
Wow.
It's not exactly what you want, but it's progress. And if you're getting the yards, I think the points will come as you eliminate some of the mistakes. That's what I'm hoping anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look, what stands out to you is throwing an interception on the goal line, fumbling on the goal line, throwing an interception on the 9-yard line. And that's going to skew everything I feel about the offense right now because those are the plays that, we're there. I mean, those are points on the board that we're freaking turning over. So, yeah, when I go back and watch the film, you're right. There's probably a lot more good, but the plays that were negative right now just kind of cover a lot of that up.
Look, is it fixed? I don't want to be Pollyanna here tonight, but at noon today when we're doing the pregame show, I'm like, I don't know if some of this stuff is fixable. I don't know if they'll ever try to run the football. Well, okay, at least for one game, I've got that answered. Yes, they are capable of running the football. Yes, they are capable of making an adjustment in a game plan. That's encouraging to me. Now, if I can eliminate some of these other things, I think more points will come. They'll play better teams too, okay? But, again, all of these teams have, some flaw somewhere.
Did we run the ball better?
Yes.
But like where I want to see run the ball better is in short yardage situations, and that's where we keep getting bullied.
Let's see Caleb Jackson in those.
Get a big body in there. I mean,
he's the only big back they got.
The amount of times that it's 3rd and 1, 2nd and 2, whatever. It's 2nd and 3, below 5, and we're getting slammed to the line of scrimmage. Like that just irks me really bad.
Oh, there is plenty to go look at the film and say, you screwed that up, okay? There plenty, but there's also
it's pad level. Like I'm gonna go back and watch this film, but like in my mind, it's burned into me right now is seeing our offensive linemen get hit in the chest with their heads back. Like that's a bad sign. That's pad level. That's technique. That's things you cannot do.
Run them through the chutes some more. Cole Kublik was down on the sideline. I mean, you know what the chutes are. I ran through.
Get
the
a
chutes.
headache if you don't do it.
Yeah, you're gonna knock your head on a piece of iron. I mean, we did that in high school.
Yeah.
I hated those things, man. It's brutal. It's a brutal part of practice.
But there's so many plays that are running through my mind right now that a defensive lineman's got his helmet underneath the chin of our offensive line.
499-9898 is the number. Garrett is in Baton Rouge on the Hooters hotline. Garrett, welcome into the show.
Hey, what's up, Penny? What's up, Rich?
Hey.
You guys, while I was waiting here, you guys both hit two main things on the head, and I wanted to talk about something overarching because I don't want to nitpick on, certain things because like Rich said, there's a lot of good things that you can take from the game. There's going to be a lot of good things seen in film. And also, that fourth quarter, right? Like, I just wanted this thing to go off. But, thankfully we pulled it out and, everybody got their little dram at the end of the night. But, Hanny, you also said that, there was a lot of good adjustments there. We have some hope. But the thing that I've seen is, two things. I see procrastination and I see coasting on the offense. Our guys on the offensive line are getting blown off the ball in small yardage plays. We got to have consistency there. We have to be able to finish. We have to be able to execute. And these guys are close, man. They got that fight. They just got to get over this hump. We can't put it down and put it on the other man. And more importantly, we can't coast. We can't go and make great yards down the field. We really have to finish the play. We can't just coast and think that we're going to win these games in the SEC conference. So that's all I got to say. I'm just going to hang up and listen to you guys.
Thanks a lot.
That's what I said pregame. I want to see the offensive line finish. I want to see them. You can get your butt whooped on a play but still show the effort that you're trying to get after a guy. And that's where my frustration is. There's so many times it's like Olay blocks, or we just, we get beat and we stop. Like, I just want a fighting mentality.
I thought we saw more of that tonight. We didn't see enough of that tonight. Cohen Eccles, for instance, I thought
played really good.
Just from the TV cut, that's all we can see.
You're going to
right
see
now.
it Monday night.
Yeah.
When we do the show, or Tuesday night, there's a combo block that I thought was the best combo block we've had all year long.
Yeah.
And it was between the center and Cohen Eccles. I mean, they got up on somebody, low pad level. They're both below the defensive tackle. Shed off, got to the linebacker. It was the best combo block I saw all night, and I just want to see it more consistently.
Yeah. I again, this was progress. It's finished product, no. Okay. And they're never going to be a dominant running team. But I can live with the fact that they kept after it tonight.
30 rushes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
What did you say? There were 62 total plays?
63, I believe.
And you had 30 rushes. I mean, I can live with that.
Yeah. That's a very nice balance. 499-9898 is the number to call on the Hooters hotline. We'll take a break. Be back with more of your phone calls. LSU wins at 20-10. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. 20-10, LSU wins it tonight. First half of the season in the books. And the Tigers 5-1, 2-1 in the SEC. Back to the phone lines, 499-9898 on the Hooters hotline. Craig is in New Iberia. Craig, welcome into the show.
Hey, how we doing tonight?
Good.
I just got a couple comments, mainly, one on the coaching and one on the players. I understand that, coaches don't coach players to fumble or throw interceptions at the goal line, so that falls directly on the players. With that being said, I mean, Garrett Nussmeier has made some real questionable, plays, and does that. I know he anticipates passes, so he throws ahead of time a lot of times, and so you're going to have interceptions. But the one at the goal line, I mean, the safety had to be in his frame, and he had to see that. So why would he make that throw? The one that at the other end of the field, that ball kind of sailed on him. That happens to quarterbacks. And the other one with the coaching is, when we couldn't punch it in from the 1 yard line, and we had, say, 3rd and goal from the 3 yard line or 4 yard line, whatever it was, why wouldn't we just throw up an alley-oop to Trey-Dez Green and go get it? I don't understand that. Obviously, you can't run in short yardage situations. Why wouldn't we just take it and, on that 3rd down and throw it up to Trey-Dez? I mean, nobody could guard that guy all night long. If he imposed his will up, whenever we wanted to complete a pass to him, it was done. I don't understand why the coaches wouldn't, can't see that. So I'll hang up and listen to you guys. Y'all have a good evening.
Craig, thank you for the call. I thought that the run play from the 3 yard line was ill-advised.
Yeah.
If they had still been at the 1. Now, the reason they weren't at the 1 was because he actually fumbled on the play.
Yeah.
And he goes backwards 2 yards. If he had not fumbled, if he'd just gone down, they'd have given him forward progress. The ball would have been back at the 1 yard line. If you try to hammer it in from there again, at least I understand that. From the 3, I'm kind of with Craig. Give me something. You can throw to Trey-Dez. You can throw to somebody else.
You tried it twice. It didn't work.
Yeah. If it didn't work from the 1, it wasn't going to work from the 3. But let's get to Nussmeier's decision making.
The first interception.
That's concerning.
Well, to me, the biggest problem, the first interception, it was a predetermined throw. He didn't read the defense. He knew the play that was called. He was throwing it, didn't think anything of it. I mean, he threw to what he thought was going to be open, did not look at the defense, did not determine what was going to happen. It was a predetermined throw, and that's a rookie mistake that he can't be doing.
The one at the goal line?
Wasn't very good either. There's things that you call a play and you think somebody's going to be. You called that play because you're seeing what the defense is doing, what they're going to get up, and you're assuming this person's going to be open. That's the reason you call it. The play's designed for one person. That's a number one option. But there's also, you got to make the adjustments after that. And I think right now he gets stuck on some of the number one options.
Now, in his defense, he found Trey-Dez Green on a lot of these mismatches, and he put the ball where it needed to be a lot of these times. Also, I can't imagine that Kyle Parker was his number one read on
the slant.
Well, on the slant. On the slant. Okay, yes, that time. but he caught 5 balls.
Yeah.
Okay, and Parker has played a good bit because he's a tenacious blocker, but he is not caught 5 balls in a game. So they got some other people involved. I was happy to see that, but the decision making that at times it does leave you just kind of befuddled, because that's 2 here. That's 1 against Louisiana Tech. That's 1 against Florida. It was 1 against, at least 1 against Ole Miss, probably more than that. And you're like, I really thought at this point in his career he would have weaned off of a lot of that. They wouldn't be making those big mistakes. There's a lot of good there. I don't want to take anything away from him. Now I know he's healthy, okay? I said this after the Southeastern game, and I got fooled, but I think I'm right this time, that he's capable of making all the throws, okay? I know he got beat up a little bit tonight, but I'm talking about, can he twist his midsection and make a throw with some velocity? Because against Ole Miss, most of the day he couldn't.
Yeah.
Well, I feel comfortable that may actually be behind him.
Yeah, the velocity was there. Like I said, his arm, I felt everything was good about it. His issues tonight were just a few decision-making deals. Yeah. I thought it was a crazy stat that I didn't realize until they put it on there, that he's only had 1 pass this year over 25 yards, which
1 completion. Yeah.
1 completion. I mean, that was a little bit shocking especially when they showed what his numbers were last year. But there's things to where, obviously, I don't feel like anybody in the offense is very comfortable right now, and they're trying to find what they can do comfortably, and it's still a little bit of a search.
And especially in the red area.
Yeah.
That's a big problem right now. Donovan in Patterson is next. Donovan, welcome into the show.
Hey, what up, Charles?
Hey, Donovan.
Hey, let me ask y'all about Chris Hilton, man. Nuss wanted to throw a deep ball finally, and it bounced right off of Chris Hilton's chest. Come on, man. I'm going to listen to y'all.
Come on, man, is about as good as I can do. Nussmeier, it's as good a ball as he's thrown.
Chris Hilton was in the same signing class, I believe, as Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas.
Rated ahead of him.
Rated ahead of him. Look, Chris is what it is. He's a speed guy, doesn't have the best hands, doesn't run the best routes. He's a guy that everybody keeps having hope for because he was so highly rated. But, I mean, let's go back to last year when he did get in, and, Brian Kelly's jumping for the balls and missing deep balls then. That's forgotten because in the bowl game he had 2 deep passes for touchdowns. He's an adequate receiver, but he's not a great receiver.
He's been invisible for 5 games because Nussmeier can't throw the ball down the field. Now that appears to be behind Nussmeier.
No.
Okay, he got that ball there with plenty of juice. So I'm hopeful that Hilton will be a bigger part of the offense. I mean, that was one of the things preseason that I was really high on this team. Barry Brown and Chris Hilton are basically clones of each other. They're basically the same size, and they're pretty much the same speed, maybe a 100th of a second. I thought if these 2 guys were in the game at the same time, teams would have no choice but to play too high, lest they get the ball thrown over their heads. Well, I didn't realize that the quarterback was going to sustain an injury that wouldn't allow him to throw the ball that far down the field. Well, if that's over, then we can start to revisit this again, because if you are a deep threat on a team where the quarterback can't throw the ball deep, well, your role evaporates, and that's what's happened to Hilton over the first 5 games. Last year, the first 5 games he didn't play at all. He was hurt, and when he came back, you're right, he had the jumping problem, and it took him about 3 games maybe to get really into a rhythm and feel like a part of this. That may be the case again. I know he's valuable. He's got his flaws for sure, but he's a valuable guy because he will scare the hell out of you down the field. Everybody's going to look at that film and say, man, what if he catches the next one? We've got to respect that. I'm encouraged by that. But, yeah, he got to catch that ball.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a lot scarier when he can run the ball. And that hurts him a little bit right now, too, because nobody's playing 9 in the box. Nobody's playing tight on the line of scrimmage. Everybody's going to drift back because they know that they can stop the run with 6. And that's never in a good spot for a guy that wants to hit a deep ball.
Do they know that after tonight?
Yeah, I mean, look, 166 yards is a lot. We busted some big ones. But when you go back and watch crucial rundown situations, when you hit a big play-action pass, it was on 2nd and 3rd, 3rd and 2, like when everybody knows it's a run, But when we get in those situations, we still can't run the ball. Like we busted a couple big ones tonight, and we had, like I said, there was 100 yards on 3 rushes, and that's part of the game. But no one's scared on 3rd and 2 right now.
Maybe not, but I do think that they're going to have to at least acknowledge that LSU's going to run the football. I mean, Ole Miss dared them to run the football, and they were like, nope, not going to do it. Tonight, they ran the football, okay? They tried. And they, again, 15 of 30 rushes went for 3 yards or less, and they kept at it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Keep your back. Don't get frustrated. Don't get off schedule. Keep at it. And, again, there were enough yards there tonight to score in the 30s. They just didn't do it in the red zone. They turned the ball. They made some dumb plays in the red zone. That's why. And usually I'm the guy that's more aggravated about this stuff. I find myself maybe a little bit more encouraged. Maybe I'm too optimistic.
Well, yeah, when you had 55 yards rushing the previous game, you get 166. Everybody.
My expectations were lower. Okay. 499-9898 is the number to call. Charlie is in Lafayette. Charlie, welcome into the show.
How y'all doing?
Good.
One thing, I know we have a lot of experts that call in that, know more than everybody, but one of the things that I think some of y'all may be missing, that sequence at the goal line near the end of the game wasn't great. But near the end, on the 3rd down or whatever, jump balls, you want South Carolina using up all their timeouts. And the thing is, the most important thing is you want to get a touchdown. But you get a field goal, and you put the game away, too, which they did. I wish they'd have executed better, but the thing is that make sure you're in the middle of the field. I don't think the quarterback sneak was wise because you don't want to get your quarterback hurt, but make sure you don't lose the ball. Don't stop the clock. Kick the field goal, and it's 20-10, and South Carolina wasn't going to catch up then. But don't throw away 3 points. You want to get 7 points, but in that situation, make sure you get the 3 points.
Aha. Okay. What he's saying here relates to trust in the quarterback. Okay. I'm hopeful that at this point in his career, I can trust Garrett Nussmeier to throw the ball in the end zone where only his guy can make a play on it. A fade to green at that point is fine. But you make a point, Charlie. Can you trust Garrett Nussmeier at that point? Because if they call a pass on it's 3rd and goal from the 3, and there's 1:50 to go, and South Carolina's got the one timeout left, I think, at that point. Mm-hmm. And if you throw the football there, and he throws an interception, then everybody and look, and God forbid, maybe he throws a pick. Maybe South Carolina goes down and scores. Maybe they go to overtime and they lose. And everybody, I mean everybody, would have called this show and said, what the bleep are you doing on 3rd down and goal from the 3?
Yeah.
Run the football, kick the field goal. Go if you score a touchdown, great. But if you don't, kick the 20-something yard field goal, go up 2 scores, and the game is over. He makes a pretty valid point here.
No, I agree with him. It's a smart play. They're playing to win the game. My frustration is you can't score with 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2.
Yeah, you would have liked to have been able to power the football over from
punch
the
1 it in.
line.
At some point, you got to run over somebody. Like at some point, you got to dominate somebody, and that's where my frustration is.
We'll take a break. LSU wins at 20-10. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day. LSU wins at 20-10 tonight in Tiger Stadium over South Carolina. 499-9898 is the number to call. On the Hooters hotline, Jules is in Abbeville. Jules, welcome in the show.
Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Doing great. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Big and Rich. How you doing?
Good.
Charlie, the SEC, it seems like it's the American League this year, not what it usually is. I agree. I don't know who the best team is, but I don't think there's any very, very good team in the league. y'all have hit all of the points about the play tonight. I was pretty discouraged myself in a lot of areas, but Tradez, where you been all my life. A couple of other things. The fake punt that Carolina got flagged on, it looked like it was going to work. I was kind of surprised LSU didn't call a timeout when the ref stepped in to wait to see if LSU wanted to make a substitution. I got Fernando Mania. I was very impressed with Indiana today, going on the road and beating Oregon. And Charles, the Philly. What a brutal way to have your season.
Oh, you got to throw that ball to first. Yeah. I
we
know.
talked about I was at a baseball tournament all day today. That was a coaching point. Guys, pros mess up too.
Well, and he did.
Yeah.
You got to throw that ball to first. Yeah, Jules, we were talking actually during the break somewhat about the point that you make, which is Indiana looks good. Texas Tech has played only the 112th best schedule out of 136 teams. So that's not very good. But nobody's been within 24 points of them. Okay, so that's got to get your attention. These are not traditional powers by any stretch. Georgia Tech is 6-0 at the top of the ACC. It's been a long time since Georgia Tech was really good. And I can go on. There's
BYU, didn't they win tonight in OT? I think I had it on.
BYU was winning. I'll check that real quick. But yeah, you've got a lot of. This is an unusual.
It's a mediocre league. Right,
maybe it's the new norm. Okay, there's so much turnover on these teams. Yeah, BYU came back and beat Arizona in double overtime. There's so much turnover on the rosters now, much more so than you had before. It's difficult to maintain your depth with the transfer portal.
That's the biggest thing to me.
It's difficult to maintain your continuity, and so you're going to have other teams jump up and maybe even win a championship.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, at this point, if you told me, hey, Indiana's going to win a national championship, I'm like, they might.
Yeah.
Okay. Texas Tech will win a national championship. They might. They certainly look like they're going to get into the playoff. I can't find anybody else on Texas Tech's schedule that looks better than them right now. Georgia Tech in the ACC. This is all new money. You'll excuse the expression. But
well, I heard that about Texas Tech having somebody drop a load to them, and they spent it on all kind of transfers.
They did. They rubbed some money on the athletic department.
They spent $1 million on a softball player.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I just remember that was the big deal. Texas Tech spent $1 million.
No, she was at Stanford and she was an All-American. Najee, I forgot her name, but Canadian.
Oh, that pitcher.
Yeah. The big booster at Texas Tech is a softball fan. They're going to win a softball national championship, or he's going to go broke trying. But they've definitely spent a lot of money on the football program too. Jules, thank you for the call.
Yes,
499-9898 is the number. Jimmy is in Baton Rouge on the Hooters hotline. Jimmy, welcome into the show.
How you doing?
Good.
I just wanted to bring up the Chris Hilton thing that came up earlier. I think, Hanny, you hit it on the head about not being able to get the ball down to him, and that's kind of his MO. Like, that's his game, speed, going down and get him. I watched this kid play for a long time. The issue I kind of have with the comment here was the adequate hands. I watched him play for a long time. He's got more than adequate hands. He has really good hands. The kid is pressing right now. I think you could see it. We talked about it last year towards the end whenever he got over the jumping too early deal. Bowl game. He had a real good game. We were all looking for him having a great season, and I'm sure we all are hoping for more than what we've gotten, but no more so than he has. I just feel
once he gets a few, that he's really going to be that deep threat we need. I just think he's a player that we need to try to find a way to lube up any way we can, kind of like tonight. Trey Davis has not caught a lot of balls this year. Huge night tonight, lubed him up. How you going to cover him? If we can lube up that deep factor and then we get Anderson back, now you have something you can do as long as we can block it up front. That's all I wanted to call and say. Appreciate you guys. Show's very good. Enjoy listening to y'all. Have a great night.
Thank you, Jimmy. I think it's fair to say that Chris Hilton cannot be expected to be in a rhythm right now. This is the first ball that I can remember that has been thrown to him down the field that he's had an opportunity to catch all year. So think about how long he's been waiting. We're here the second week in October. He's been practicing since the first week in August, and this is the first real opportunity he's had a chance to make a play on a ball down the field. The other two times that he's been down there open, Nussmeier hasn't been able to get him the ball. And now we know, well, that just wasn't a part of their offense. So last year it did take him a few games to get into the rhythm. If that happens again this year, good. All that being said, no rhythm, no deep balls before this, no whatever. He needed to catch that ball tonight. And he's capable of catching that ball. And he'd probably tell you, I should have caught that ball tonight.
You get more opportunities by making those catches.
Yeah.
That's how you build trust. And like, I'm not saying Chris isn't good. Like I said, he's a highly ranked guy. He's a guy that we've been waiting on, but he's a guy that has to make those plays.
Yeah.
When you get the opportunity, you only get so many opportunities in the game. And
especially that far down the field.
And when you say that, we got to get him going, like, I agree, but you also got to make the plays when they're thrown your way.
Yeah.
That's how you get going.
I think he will be a bigger part of the offense now that Nussmeier is able to throw the ball down the field. I think you'll see a little bit more of him. And like I said, I'd love to see him and Barry and Brown on the field at the same time. That's a big play waiting to happen. But, yeah, you got to block it up, and, yeah, Nussmeier's got to be, protected enough to get the ball down there, and yeah, they got to catch it.
You know what makes it easier? Run the ball.
Oh, well, they did a little bit more of that tonight. 499-9898 is the number. Carla is in Walker. Carla, welcome into the show.
Hey guys.
Hey, good evening, Carla.
How y'all? Y'all have had a really, really good show. You've covered almost everything that I had a question about, except one. Rich, are you happy about Bauer Sharp's penalty, unsportsmanlike? You said it earlier in today's show.
Did you get a good look at that?
I didn't get a good look at it.
I didn't either. It was almost like the camera went away from whatever he did. It was a celebration penalty, but I never actually saw what he did.
I didn't see what he did either, but I want to clarify what I was saying earlier. I wasn't talking about anything after the play. Like, I'm talking about finishing during the play. I don't care if you run a guy 5, 15, 20 yards outside. I wanted you to finish plays, finish blocks. If you get a personal foul for finishing the block, I'm good with that. I want to see it. But, yeah, I didn't see what he really did. I didn't get a good look at it.
I didn't either. It was off of the screen. Sharp had one catch tonight for 11 yards, but the tight ends combined for 9 catches for 130 yards. I knew you were going to say that. 499-9898 is the number to call. We'll take a break. Come back with more of your phone calls. LSU wins at 20-10 tonight. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. LSU wins it by a score of 20-10. 499-9898 is the number to call on the Hooters hotline. Jerry is in Youngsville. Jerry, welcome into the show.
Hey, what's up, Hanny? You can hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, the defense played really well. I think the way we blitzed was exceptional. Lenore Sellers is a great ball player. But what about whenever we see Ty Simpson, Marcel Reed, Deontay Diego Pavia. What do you think about that? We're going to play the same, or are we going to I just want to know where we're looking there.
You're talking about running quarterbacks? Is that
yes,
kind of the angle?
Sir.
Okay. Rich?
I think it really plays off what we're doing on offense. And I go back to the Ole Miss game where we completely got away from blitzing. And it's a style of how long are they going to be on the field, what type of rest they can get, because blitzing is exhausting. You don't want to blitz all night if you're going to be on the field all night. I mean, it's something you're doing to get off the field, make big plays, but you do that with the hope that the offense can sustain drives and drive down the field and get you rest. And I felt like, the way we ran the ball 30 times tonight, that gives people rest. I mean, it's a 40-second clock. Every time you run the ball and you run the clock down, and that's minutes of rest the defense is getting. And I think when they have that ability, I mean, they're going to come after the quarterback.
I thought against Ole Miss the blitzes were delayed and didn't get there. I thought they started from too far back and didn't get there. Did that a couple of times tonight too, but there was one play in particular where Deshaun Spears was in the game, and they ran a game up front, and they brought somebody behind them, and they were able to sack Sellers because there were multiple guys in the backfield. So with some of these delayed blitzes or some of these blitzes that are coming from, 15, 17 yards, it's like, man, you're asking a lot for them to get there on some of that. So I'm fine with the blitzes as long as they come from a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and I feel like when you're doing that is you're trying to do more disguising. You want them to think you're in coverage, you're playing coverage. And, of course, against Ole Miss, it didn't work out. Look, I think we had 5 sacks on the night. I think we could have had 8 or 9. I think Lenore Sellers is just a hell of an athlete. I mean, he broke through Pyburn's arms a couple of times.
He's hard to get on the ground,
he's tough.
man.
He's slippery. I mean, there was a lot. I felt like we could have had 10 sacks tonight. We were all over him, but, he's credit to him. He's a great – yeah, he's awesome at it, and he's slippery.
And he's strong. The guy weighs 245 pounds.
He pulls through it.
Yeah. Anything else?
Is he the best we're going to see this year?
He's the biggest. I don't know that he's the best. There are a number. Look, if you want to run it backwards from the end of the season, John Mateer, who had a terrible day today, but I'm going to kind of account that to the fact that he has missed a couple of weeks with the hand injury. Ty Simpson from Alabama can certainly move. Taylon Green
he's probably
from
the best.
Arkansas is the fastest guy that they're going to see. He's every bit. He's actually taller than Sellers, and he's got long strides. He's not as thick as Sellers is, but he's a scary guy when he gets moving. Pavia, can move. And who am I leaving out? Oh, Marcel Reed at Texas A&M. So you're not going to see any quarterbacks that can't run the rest of the way.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Sellers is the fastest, best athlete. And when I say what I'm about to say, is he kind of reminds me of a Jamarcus, is a big-bodied athletic guy that's just hard to take down. Like, Jamarcus got hit a lot, and he didn't scramble. He extended plays and threw the ball down the field. But Lenore Sellers is just hard to bring down.
They also wanted to run him more on design runs. And they did that. He had 22 carries tonight. No. So even if you take out the 5 sacks, all right, so that gets you to 17. I would imagine that of the 17 carries that he had tonight, it's about half and half.
Yeah.
Half designed and half.
They had a stat showed up during the game. I can't remember what it was, but they were showing his design runs versus not, and they had a good bit of them tonight.
What do you think of him as a pro prospect?
What's the kid from Florida?
Anthony Richardson.
He reminds me a little bit of him. He's got a lot of freak talent. I think he's better than him. I think he's a better passer. I think he understands the quarterback role a little bit more. But as far as he's got so much upside.
He's been sacked 20 times now in 6 games. So he does not have anything close to the supporting cast that he had a year ago. They do not have a back as good as Rocket Sanders was a year ago. His incompletion rate this year, not the percentage of passes he completes, but the amount that he is missing receivers by, is half of what it was a year ago. This is one of the advanced metrics that they're using on him, and he's missing by half as much as he was a year ago. That's improvement. Richardson's an easy comp, and Moscone and I got a bet, which is why we bet in the pregame. I think this kid's going top 5. Moscone doesn't. There's a cigar on the line, but probably bragging rights as much as anything. I think that when he gets to the league, Richardson had 13 starts at Florida, which is not enough. Yeah. And then you saw him like, well, he needs to play. Well, once you get to the NFL, if you're not playing well, they're going to take you out. And they have. And I suspect that it's going to be really, really hard for him to get back in the lineup in Indianapolis. Maybe he will, with another team, maybe the career gets a kickstart. We've certainly seen that happen. It happened, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, now Daniel Jones. Maybe the next team, it's no guarantee. It didn't work for Trey Lance. It's not working for Justin Fields. Maybe he kickstarts somewhere else. But Sellers is going to end up with not quite twice as many starts, but at least 10 more starts than Richardson had. So that's a big deal. I think he's probably not as fast as Richardson, but I think he's thicker, and Richardson's a pretty thick guy. Yeah. Sellers, to me, he's kind of a poor man's Cam Newton. Okay, he doesn't have Newton's acceleration and speed. Nobody that size does, but he's at least resembles him. I would have no problem taking him at the top of the first round next year, and sitting him
ranked. Pavia, Martell Reed, and Sellers. How you rank them?
For the college game or the pro game?
College game. The
college game right now, Diego Pavia is playing with a confidence level that is off the charts. Everybody responds to him. He would be tops in that group for me right now.
It goes right into what we talked about with the Giants game on Thursday night. Yeah. Jackson Dart has that confidence, that energy that he brings to it, and Pavia does it. I mean, look, Vanderbilt's been a joke in the SEC for 20 years, or however long they've been in the SEC, and they're 5-1, where they had a bye week this week. Pavia just is a guy that he's going to grind. He's a guy that's going to give you problems, and he's going to try to do his best to stay in every game.
It would be actually, I would rank them Pavia, Reed, Sellers at the college level. If I had to win a game next week, okay, that's how I'd rank them. But if I was putting together a draft board,
Sellers,
I'd flip it upside down. Yeah. It would be Sellers, then Reed, then Pavia. Thanks a bunch for the call. We'll take a break here. LSU wins it by a score of 20-10. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Stat Check. Presented by Luba Workers Comp. Luba Workers Comp. Delivering genuine dependability.
All right, we take a look at the yardstick here. LSU with 22 first downs. South Carolina with 20. 420 yards of total offense for LSU. 317 for South Carolina. 420 yards and 22 first downs is enough to win most SEC games, especially with this defense. 20 points is shaky.
Yeah.
420 yards and 22 first downs should translate into, like I said, anywhere between 28 and 35 points.
41.
Well, okay. It's a little tall, I think, but I get your point. Third down efficiency tonight, LSU 4 of 11, South Carolina 6 out of 16, and 0 for 2 on fourth down. Passing, LSU 20 of 33, 254 yards, 7.7 yards per attempt, 2 interceptions for South Carolina, 15 of 27, $124, 4.6 yards per pass. They did not throw the ball down the field, and they did have the interception. Rushing yards, so proud. 30 carries, 166. Jacob Hester must be somewhere just really content with life,
He's
right?
Feeling good.
Yeah. 30 for 166, 5.5 yards a carry. 45 rushing attempts for South Carolina, $193, 4.3 per. Penalties, 5 for 54 yards for LSU, and congratulations to the crowd. You definitely did your job tonight. 13 penalties on South Carolina for 65 yards, and I believe it was 6 false starts. I know they had some reserves on that offensive line.
They started off rough.
I think it was 6. It might have been 5, but I think it was 6 false starts on those 13 penalties. So kudos for whatever role the crowd played in that. 3 turnovers for the Tigers, 2 for the Gamecocks. Time possession favored the road team 31-45 to 28-15. Individually, Garrett Nussmeier, 20 of 33, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Lenore Sellers, 15 of 27, $124, no touchdowns and an interception. Caden Durham led LSU in rushing, 15 carries for 70 yards. He had a long of 23. Jawan Johnson, 5 carries for 66 yards. Garrett Nussmeier, 4 for 30 for South Carolina. Matt Fuller, 7 carries for 83 yards and a touchdown, 72 of those on 1 carry. Rashul Faison, 13 carries for 68 yards. Lenore Sellers, 22 carries for 19 yards. That includes 5 sacks worth of yardage taken out. Receiving tonight, Trey Green, 8 catches for 119 yards and a touchdown. Kyle Parker, 5 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown. Barrion Brown with 2 catches for 22 yards for South Carolina. Nick Harbor, 2 catches for 36 yards. Brady Hunt, 4 for 25. And Rashul Faison, 3 for 20. The defensively, A.J. Halsey led the Tigers with 11 tackles, 6 solos. Wes Weeks had 9. Harold Perkins had 8, including a sack. LSU had 5 sacks. Perkins, Whit Weeks, DJ Pickett, Jack Pyburn, and Patrick Payton shared 1, and the 5th sack went to Bernard Gooden. For South Carolina, 8 tackles for DQ Smith, and Dylan Stewart, the standout defensive lineman, had 5 tackles, 3 solos, and 2 tackles for losses. Kicking, Damian Ramos had 2 field goals tonight, made both of his extra points. William Joyce was 1 of 2 on his field goals tonight. The one he missed was from 47 yards. Mason Love, 4 punts for a 41.8-yard average for South Carolina, and all 4 of those jokers were downed inside the 20. Grant Chadwick had 4 punts for a 55-yard average, only 1 inside the 20. The 1 touchback on a 71-yard punt, and really most of that in the air.
Yeah.
You know, there was a little bit of a roll at the end, but he got all of that one, and that is your stat check. We're brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com. They've been growing, milling, and processing their rice in Southwest Louisiana since the 1930s. So pick up a bag the next time you're looking for rice at all your AG food stores, your Rouses, your Walmarts, anywhere you buy rice. Make it Supreme Rice. The brown, the long grain, the medium grain, the jasmine, and the parboiled rice. Also the low glycemic rice that is perfect for diabetics. You're going to save some money. You're going to get a terrific product, and you're going to support our Louisiana farmers as part of the Climate Smart program that promotes water conservation and reducing methane emissions. For more information and great recipes, go to the website at supremerice.com. Back with our final scoreboard of the night when we return. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day. The Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln College Football Scoreboard. Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln on airline under the giant American flag.
One game still in progress. Out on the island, Utah State leads Hawaii 26-24. That game is early in the third quarter. All right, everything else has gone final, of course. We start with the number 1 team in the country, Ohio State. They beat number 17, Illinois, 34-16. 3 takeaways for the Buckeyes turn into 21 points. Number 7, Indiana, goes to Eugene and beats Oregon 30-20. Fernando Mendoza, 215 yards and a touchdown. Oregon had won 23 straight regular season games. That was the longest win streak of its kind in the country going currently, and that is over. Number 4, Ole Miss survived Washington State 24-21. This was a very close ball game pretty much throughout. Trinidad Chambliss threw for 253 yards and a touchdown. He also ran for a score. Number 5, Texas A&M remains unbeaten. They beat Florida 34-17, despite a couple of touchdown passes from DJ Lagway.
First time in my life, 2 weeks in a row, I've rooted for Florida.
And then 1 for 2, right?
Yeah, 1 for 2.
Florida's they're 2-4. They're not a boring 2-4.
No,
it's not like there's been a lot of things happen for them. At Red River in the Cotton Bowl, Texas beats. See, that almost thought Texas was ranked. Texas beat number 6 Oklahoma 23-6. John Mateer returned for the Oklahoma Sooners 17 days after the hand surgery, but he threw 3 interceptions this afternoon. Number 8, Alabama beat number 14, Missouri, 27-24. 3 touchdown passes for Ty Simpson. Number 9, Texas Tech beat Kansas 42-17. Huge day for Cameron Dickey on the ground. The Texas Tech running back ran for 263 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gave you the stat earlier. Texas Tech schedule 112 out of 136, but nobody has been closer than 24 points against the Red Raiders. Number 10, Georgia beat Auburn by a score of 20-10. Gunnar Stockton threw for 217 yards for the Georgia Bulldogs, who shut out Auburn in the second half. Number 12, Tennessee survived Arkansas 34-31. Bobby Petrino back as the interim head coach now. Was a big day for Deshaun Bishop for Tennessee. He ran for $146 and a touchdown. Number 13, Georgia Tech gets to 6-0. They beat Virginia Tech 35-20. Touchdown and 213 yards for Haynes King. USC beats number 15, Michigan 31-30. Jordan Maeva threw for 265 and a couple of touchdowns. And King Miller ran for $158 and a score for the Trojans. Number 16, Notre Dame blew out NC State 36-7. C.J. Carr threw for 342 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Jeremiah Love ran for a couple of scores. Number 18, BYU remains unbeaten. They beat Arizona 33-27. That game was in double overtime. Utah took care of number 21, Arizona State, 42-10. Big number there. No Sam Levitt for Arizona State. His replacement, Jeff Sims, threw for only 124 yards. Colorado beat number 22, Iowa State, handing the Cyclones their second straight loss. 24-17 was the final there. Quarterback Caden Salter threw for 255 and a couple of scores. Pittsburgh beat number 25, Florida State, 34-31. The freshman Mason Heinchel, first true road start, threw for 321 yards and 2 touchdowns, added another 64 on the ground, 385 yards of total offense. Florida State, who beat Alabama in the season opener, is 2-3 since. UCLA looks like a completely different team with the coaching change. They blow out Sparty 38-13 in East Lansing. Michigan State took the opening kickoff, drove right down the field, made it 7-0, and then the roof fell in. The only time they scored after that was in garbage time. Nico Iamalava, I know that's not right. Iamalava, 3 touchdown passes for UCLA. SMU beat Stanford 34-10. Cincinnati over UCF 20-11. Houston goes to 5-1. They beat Oklahoma State 39-17. James Madison over Louisiana Lafayette 24-14. Army beat Charlotte 24-7. Miami of Ohio over Akron 20-7. Bowling Green gets to 3-3. The Fighting Eddie Georges beat Toledo 28-23. Eastern Michigan over Northern Illinois 16-10. Kent State beat UMass 42-6. One of the big shockers of the day, Northwestern beats Penn State 22-21. Also in this game, Drew Aller injured near the end. I think it was the second to last play that Penn State ran. He is out for the season. Penn State, who opened the year number 2 in the nation, is 0-3 in Big Ten play. And this was not a fluke. Northwestern had 10 more first downs than Penn State in this game. Nebraska beat Maryland 34-31 behind 4 touchdown passes from Dylan Raiola. Nebraska, who was down going into the fourth quarter, a touchdown, scored the last 10 points of the game. Wake Forest beats Oregon State 39-14, and I believe the Beavers are the first 0-7 team in the country. Kansas State beat TCU 41-28. It was UNLV over Air Force 51-48. Dan Mullen 6-0. For UNLV.
He's back.
Yeah, he's off to a hell of a start. App State beat Georgia State 41-20. It was Marshall over Old Dominion 48-24. Western Michigan's blanked Ball State 42-0. Navy gets to 6-0. They beat Temple 32-31. 2-point conversion with 25 seconds to go after a Blake Horvath touchdown was the difference in that one. Florida Atlantic beat UAB 53-33. Iowa beat Wisconsin 37-0. Iowa scored 37 points. How bad is Wisconsin?
That's terrible.
And they had 0 points. Wyoming beat San Jose State 35-28. Coastal Carolina over UL Monroe 23-8. Minnesota beat Purdue 27-20. Boat rowing up in Minneapolis. Drake Lindsey threw a couple of touchdown passes. Clemson even their record at 3-3 with a 41-10 win over Boston College. Cade Klubnik threw for 280 and a touchdown. UTSA beat Rice 61-13. Troy over Texas State 48-41. That was in overtime. Boise State beat New Mexico 41-25, and San Diego State bombed Nevada 44-10, and that is your college football scoreboard. Game balls are next. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day, presented by Super Chevy in Yingling. Game balls.
All right, we'll do game. I want to say something before we do game balls. Kind of an honorary game ball. Doug Morrow tonight was acknowledged at the stadium for his long tenure in the LSU booth. Most of it alongside Jim Hawthorne, but and of course for the last 10 years with Chris Blair. Announced his retirement last month or 2 months ago. Doug's a friend, and he did such a great job and so many great moments in LSU football history. Had Doug Morrow's voice attached to it. So congratulations on a great career. And, of course, Jacob is doing a great job, now taking over that role. But thanks to Doug for all of the great memories, and wanted to acknowledge him as he was acknowledged at the stadium tonight. So thank you, Doug. We appreciate it. Now let's get to the game balls. Who you got?
I got Trey Dez on the offense. I mean, a big night for him.
Tight end Trey Dez Green?
I'm giving it to wide receiver Trey Dez Green
Okay.
with 8 receptions, 119 yards, a touchdown along with 24. And on defense, I'm going with Jack Pyburn. And I know the stats aren't going to show it, but I feel like when, in my mind of replaying the game in my head, he caused so much more havoc than he's going to get credit for in stats.
Yeah, I agree. And there were some times where he couldn't quite get Sellers to the ground, but Sellers certainly knew he was there.
Shoot, I mean, 2 of the intentional groundings, that's Jack Pyburn.
I'm going to give one of my game balls to the LSU running game. Just so happy to see you. Come on in. Take your coat off and put your feet up and relax. The rushing game, 30 carries for 166 yards tonight, 5.5 per carry. And on defense, Mansour Delane, who has been arguably the biggest addition to this team, either freshman class or transfer portal. He's been the true definition of a lockdown corner. That term, in my opinion, gets overused an awful lot. Just because you're the number one corner doesn't mean you're a lockdown corner. He is. And he had a very good game tonight. Biggest play he made was on the 4th down, where he makes a clean deflection and gets LSU off the field. So Mansour Delane, my game ball on defense tonight. LSU wins it by a score of 20-10. Back to wrap things up. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Eagle 98.1 Game Day wrapping up. LSU wins it by a score of 20-10. Certainly far from a perfect performance, but better offensively. Big mistakes cost them more points, but the rushing game got going a little bit. The quarterback appears healthy, although he took some shots tonight. And LSU did a good job of containing a very talented quarterback on the other end. Now it's Vanderbilt, the morning start. Always a challenge, and this is probably the best Vanderbilt team that LSU has ever played. Probably, I can't, right off the top of my head, think of a better one. The game that LSU lost to them in 1990, I think it was, on the Todd Kinchin pass interference, that really kind of wasn't the OPI at the end of the game. No, I think that it's going to be a big challenge. Diego Pavia is playing as well as anybody, and the confidence level he's given to that program is really something. So LSU will have to be at their best when they go up to Nashville next week.
I think they got to play better than they played tonight to win that game.
Yeah, I don't think you can have the turnovers that they had in the game tonight. and expect to win. And you're probably going to have to score more than 20 points, I would think, to win as well. Final, once again, LSU 20 and South Carolina 10. From all of us here at the flagship, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good morning. Hey, breakfast with the Broncos here in about 7 hours.
A baseball game in 8.
Yeah, and the Saints at noon. Good night, everybody.